Hello and welcome. This is the Ascension Football Show. I'm Joel Villafana. Never a dull moment in Trinidad and Tobago's football. The national team off to the Dominican Republic and to Puerto Rico to begin World Cup qualifying action. The national coach and his media director in a squabble. What's the situation in the team camp as we speak? What are our chances going into the first phase of World Cup qualifying? We get to the bottom of all the answers right here on the Ascension Football Show. Jamal Shabazz is here with us. Here's what's coming up.
From a football standpoint, I would say that Guyana is more ready. Long time they want to beat the commissioner, and the only place they can beat him is on the field. Get from government a special subsidy.
All right, to a big story this week. We are digging deep into football, and we have one of football's greatest sons. He has served as player, coach. He has been in the administration. Jamal Shabazz is here with us. But football continues to face rough waters here in TNT, from one crisis to the next. It reminds me of the 1986 Calypso hit. Captain, the ship is sinking, by Gypsy. Should we abandon ship or should we stay on it? Do we need a new captain to take over Trinidad and Tobago's football? Well, the man with one of the answers for sure is none other than Jamal Shabazz, and he is here with me. Shabazz, Mr. Shabazz, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, at this stage of the game, I mean, before we get into to all the burning issues, one crisis to the next, do we need a captain to steady the ship here in Trinidad and Tobago's football?
Well, I think it's more than just a captain. I think is an approach and a leadership style that calls some more inclusion and collectivity. You know, I've said even in the time of John Williams, right, that while FIFA can give advice and directives, FIFA not living with the people here, right? And therefore, you know, our would-be leaders must be able to mesh the idea from CONCACAF or the directive from CONCACAF and FIFA with our reality. Secondly, I think there has been a preoccupation in Trinidad and Tobago football for the last 20 years as instead of studying where we're going, we've been too preoccupied with who lead. You know? So we have different leaders, but where we going? And the principal thing is where is the football going? And I think that is the main issue.
So while we should be speaking here now about, of course, the national team selected and heading off to the Dominican Republic for that first game against Guyana, the news this week that bubbled on the back pages would have been the national coach Terry Fenwick and his media director, long-serving media director Sean Fuentes, in a bit of a squabble at the media conference of announcing the team. The TTFA released a statement soon after, basically saying that the matter was blown out of proportion. Fenwick and Fuentes kissed and make up. They've made up, and everything is fine. All is well. Two principal figures on a national team, Jamal. You know how a national team operates, leaving to go on a World Cup qualifying tournament, and the coach and the media director having some issues between them. That can't be good for team morale at this stage.
Definitely not, and I think it's not a good example for the football, for coaching. The national coach is the coach of coaches in any country, because every coach should aspire to get that job at the top. And therefore, the standards that should be asked of that person, the standards that should be set by that person must be high, not just in coaching acumen, but in how he or she carries themselves. And all kind of things could be swept under the carpet, under the rug, under the the kitchen sink. But the truth is the truth. And it happened in front of journalists, the worst type. Now, the journalists in this country have somewhat failed the football because when something happened here and we had to turn to Sports Max over there to get a proper assessment, that does not augur well for your profession in this country.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the journalists have become like mice and they're calling a spade an agricultural instrument. It's that too, but it's a spade. And that incident, I think, and the way it has been handled by the Football Association, is so traditional.
Yeah.
I think from what I've heard from eyewitnesses, because in Islam, you have to be careful with accusations without witnesses, right? And from what I heard from at least 3 eyewitnesses, I think that matter calls for more than an investigation.
But fair enough, Jamal, and I'm hearing you. But sometimes who in the hot seat feels the fire? The reality is that this incident happened on the verge of the team traveling and heading into World Cup qualifying. I mean, what would you have done in this situation? Your hands are tied, even at the administration level. The coach has been preparing this team to go. What could be done in this case?
Well, then the coach could have committed a felony, and because we won 3 points, then he could do anything. And that is what we say in there.
You would have replaced the coach at this stage? He would not have traveled with the team?
For me, given what I know of the incident, that report would have had to come in 2 hours. Mm-hmm. This is not something that happened in United States where we went to play. This is something that happened here with journalists, the people with the most investigative qualities in the country. Mm-hmm. Right? And this is 1 hour report. And we have our assistant coach. This was a moment for the Football Association or the Normalization Committee or the abnormal, whatever you want to call it, to send a strong message of what we want for the future of Trinidad and Tobago football. Regardless of what has happened, we're not going with that. You see, that behavior is unacceptable. And if it meant that these 2 people have got to sit out of that and we lost the 6 points, fine.
So be it.
So be it. But we send in, remember now, we've got to also get the confidence again, not just of the public, but corporate Trinidad and Tobago, right? The players, and we need to set standards, and we need to force people to come up to that standard. And the other side of the thing is this. Listen, suppose Jamal Chavez do that. Play Ray Apollon. You understand? Ray Apollon was that man could have railed but people, boy. And when you look at that matchup, I ain't saying any of the people, but I'm saying that come like Ray Apollon, but in Twiggy. Who is that? One time when I hear about the incident, I think about Twiggy. And when the man called me and said, so, I say, Hagler thing. I thought the man come to tell me about Hagler. Yeah. No, that is not acceptable. And anybody who want to feel that they can just do a release and sweep that under the table, they're going off. This football is real life,
Yeah.
You understand? I just get passionate about this because we put real life in this thing. And we can't afford anybody to take this thing and he just misbehave and he just lost it. No.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
The issue, based on the report, seemed to be a particular journalist that the coach was not happy with being in the press conference. I mean, in this day and age, press freedom and all, would you have an issue with a journalist being in a press conference posing questions at you, you as the national coach, that just sends a wrong message to me right away.
Listen, yeah? In primary school, we grew up under the English teaching methods, yeah? And it had a thing, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. What happened to that? So men forget that? Who is a journalist? Listen, a journalist have his job. And sometimes we could feel wrong, we could feel our character is assassinated, right? But the law provides for that. The national team don't belong to the coach. National come from the word nation, right? Nation means all the people, right? So unless all the people that say they don't want a particular journalist in the press conference, the national team, and whether his style, I agree with his style or not, irrelevant. You know, as a national coach, the only people more important than a national coach is the president, the prime minister, the opposition leader, and well, for people down by we in Mova and Beatham, the attorney general, who making all these laws to come for we, right? Other than that, the national coach in football is the next most important person, and he must be accountable for anything. And you could be able to ask you anything, why you pick that one, why you do this, why you do it. You feel it's a mango, you just pick just so anything a journalist could ask you. How he responds is totally in his jurisdiction. You know, so I don't agree with that censoring who could come to press conference and who can't come to press conference. Rubbish. He could have do that in England.
Terry Fenwick has been here, Jamal, coaching in our system for many, many years, going back 2 or 3 decades at least. You've seen him work, you know him as a coach. Your assessment of what he has done in his short tenure thus far as national coach?
I think Terry Fenwick, he's not my favorite person, and I'm not his favorite person.
We get that out of the way.
Right? Yeah. So I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But he's brought something to the table in club football in Trinidad and Tobago that I respect, right? And he brought a level of intensity when he came with Jablote, and he won the league. But he has shown a propensity to only to be able to coach teams that have money, that can get the best players, right? So when he worked with Central, remember the other government was in power. And Brent Sancho was a political ally of the other government. And Central FC was the new kid on the block with all the finances. So he went there and he also got success. I respect him as a coach. He's very intense, he's very competitive, and he knows what he wants to do. But he's not coached international football. And it is as new to him as anything else. He's played international football. But playing at the international level and coaching at the international level is 2 different things. As a competitor and a warrior, I give Terry Fenwick full credit. But he's very inexperienced, as we see him now, as a national coach. Because the national coach must also be a manager. You know, and not a complainer. He's got to be more solution oriented. Okay, this was not in place. What do I do next? If I, as a national coach, go public complaining, oh, we didn't do this, then who solves it? You know, the national coach must be the driving force behind the solutions. After the game, okay. But going into the thing, I must do everything. I must push the administrator. I must push the player. I must push everything to make it happen. And I thought he had a real squad with him, because when I see the commissioner of police and all riding the thing, I say, but it's only the national security minister was missing and the chief of defense staff. Them was the only 2 men missing from the support staff. So what's going wrong? And I want to tell you this, Joel. You're smart. You're afraid to ask me that if that man can get charged for that thing.
Well, my next question really was, what would you like to see come out of the matter? Because my looking at the thing objectively, yes, a report could have come in, this is what happened, X, Y, Z. The reality is that you may be of the opinion that shake up the thing, listen, let the assistant coach take over. What would you like to see happen when the team returns from these two legs of matches? From an administrative point of view, and the best thing we're trying to make was football.
I think from a truthful standpoint, the administrators have got to deal with that. You know, if they allow that incident to go, just that, oh, this was a misunderstanding, it was blown out of proportion, they're setting a dangerous precedent. Listen, some of the potential coaches coming up from down my way, you know, men live in Laventille, men live in Harlem, men live in Carnage, right? And I stress Carnage because I hear a coach from Carnage name in the mix, right? So remember, these is men, we ain't grow up with that kind of, you know, prim and proper behavior. So you could expect the worst from us. And if we see, okay, that coaches are allowed to get away with that behavior, don't come now after and say, boy, this and that will show double standards.
I just want to read a paragraph from the official TTFA statement, and I'd like you to respond to it before we bring this matter to a close on the show. The TTFA further advises that the matter was blown out of proportion as head coach Terry Fenwick only chose to express his disapproval of a certain member of the media fraternity being present at the scheduled media briefing on the eve of the team's departure for the Dominican Republic and against Guyana. Apologies were exchanged, and Fenwick and Fuentes have since agreed to put the incident behind them and continue to focus on the team's upcoming assignments in the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. All's well that ends well.
You know what I'm missing in that? For public confidence. And we, the TTFA, would like to advise that we does not support the coach in blacklisting journalists, because we believe in freedom of the press. That's nothing it.
No,
so I leave him thinking, wait now, boy. This squad here, like, it ain't got no freedom of the press.
Yeah.
That missing from it. Oh, forget all the thing, well, all's well that ends well. We expect. In any case, Sean Fuentes can't beat Terry Fenwick. Why? Listen. Why it wasn't Kenman Jones? Because it had a scuffle. It had a showdown, a face-off with Kenman Jones and Terry Fenwick at a session. It amounted to nothing. Now you ask yourself, when it was little puny, little
Shawnee.
Featherweight, right? A featherweight. Why this incident didn't happen 2 weeks before with Kenman Jones? Listen. Whether a monkey brown, blue, white, yellow, red, monkey doesn't know what tree to climb. And that is what happened there. So that press release still need another release. That we, the TTFA, does not subscribe to the blacklisting of journalists, no matter what we feel about their work.
Jamal, what you're saying there, the reality as well, based on information that we received, and I think at this stage it is very clear that the journalists and the media house of representation is online media journalist Lozano Liebert. He's been a sports journalist in this country for many, many years, and he runs Wired868.com. He was the journalist in question that Mr. Fenwick was not comfortable with, as well as we also are aware that the press release issued by the TTFA was not sent to Mr. Liebert. Just kind of proving your point, Jamal, that there seems to be a blacklisting of some sort in terms of Lozano being part of football coverage here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, definitely. And again, I have a relationship with Lozano Liebert. That relationship changed when John Williams came in power. He started to attack me. I could tell him that. but we still have a relationship.
Yeah.
And I will still
And
do
he's a
an
practicing
interview.
he's a practicing journalist in the
I will still do
country.
an interview with
Yeah,
him.
he's a practicing journalist in the country.
Yeah, and he has his place. He's shown bravery, he's shown courage. He's shown treachery at some times in dealing with me. And I could defend that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But he has got to be admired too in the way he approaches it. And you can see consistency because at one time, Lasana and Fenwick were ring on fingers.
Yeah. Marriage breakup?
Yeah, so. And this is the problem. Man doesn't realize, the trap you just fall into by supplying journalists with inside info,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a can, a worms you open,
Yeah,
and then you subject to that.
Yeah.
So again, Lasana is a very difficult journalist to get around, but you need them kind of difficult people too.
Yeah.
There's a balance, God created the heavens and the earth, and He make a balance between, so the heavens don't fall down on the earth, and you just need people who have a different view to help keep people in check.
Yeah.
And so he has become necessary in the football landscape.
Yeah. Jamal Shabazz, weighing in on the footballing issues. He's spending some time with us today on the Ascension Football Show. Whatever happens, we hope some of the issues raised here will be addressed. Yes, the main issue right now is trying to be Tobago's performance on the field of play, which we'll deal with, and what will happen over the next couple of games as the World Cup qualifying campaign begins. But we hope that the TTFA addresses, one, the importance of a national coach and the role he plays as an exemplar in our society, and two, press freedom. Press freedom is very, very important, and in this day and age, in 2021, any practicing journalist has the right to be at any press conference, and nobody should be able to tell them you're not supposed to be there. All right, we're coming back. The Ascension Football Show continues. Jamal Shabazz. We deal with the team and what we expect from our national team in our first two World Cup qualifiers against Guyana and Puerto Rico when we come back.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches, right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for a carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What, you want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions. Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champions. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champions. So everybody say, hey, oh. We wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension. 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 We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension. We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension. We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Amante Del Cafe is located at Magnificent Mall, number 271 Southern Main Road, McBean, Couva. Amante Del Cafe. Happiness begins with brew. Lasso Free Maritime Limited provides boat storage, hull and launch, boat repairs, boat engine repairs, secured parking, 24-hour security, and extensive camera system, boat charters, boat rentals, and down the island parties. For more info, contact 634-1653. Lasso Free Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. Life's better on a boat.
We're back, the Ascension Football Show. Thanks for joining us every week here on the Ascension Football Show as we follow the developments in national football. So yes. The national team has been selected, a 26-man squad. The return of some familiar faces. Terry Fenwick has gone to some of the tried and tested. The return of the likes of Sheldon Bato, Aubrey David, Robert Primus, Jovan Jones, Khalib Highland is back, I'm supposing, at the helm of the team, Levi Garcia and Willis Plaza. So some names that most of us will be familiar with returning to our national setup. The team will play Guyana on March 25th in the Dominican Republic, and then on the 28th take on Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico. Jamal Shabazz is here with me still. Mr. Shabazz, your thoughts on the composition of this team? Is this a Terry Fenwick type team? Because at one point we weren't sure, especially when we looked at the team that he picked against the USA.
Well, it has been a little puzzling, but when you look at the late inclusion of Plaza, some of these players have been loyal to him over the years. And he has given them an opportunity in Jablote, Khalib Highland. He was part and parcel of getting him out of the country to play first in Belgium, I think it was, and then to ply his trade further. When Plaza was a virtually unknown player, because Plaza came out of Caledonia, he in Jablote as a youth that time, he took off under Fenwick. And generally, there are other players who I think selected themselves. Aubrey David and company, Levi Garcia. The puzzling thing remains, and it shows the inexperience because Mr. Fenwick had said coming into the job, there's so many, and if I could get the accent right, there's so many local lads that we can use. You know, and the lads.
We have lads here?
Yeah.
We have lads here.
And those lads, you know, he's seen a different reality.
Right.
You know, and this is part of, or should be part of the learning curve for him. Right? But, you know, it's still a competitive squad. On paper, you have some experience in the squad. And you have some youth in the squad.
Yeah. A bit of a balance when you look at the overall squad.
And then one or two players in there I like.
Right.
You know, so
Tell
I
me.
think I think like, you know, that it gives him something. Now, say what you want about Terry Fenwick, he's very competitive.
Yeah.
Right? He's very competitive. And maybe all this adversity, having the players away from home in his environment, I think he has the confidence, he has that ability and that self-confidence to get them to focus on the job at hand.
Yeah. Let me just make it underline. You're very, very more or less comfortable with the composition of this team.
Yeah, I mean, as coaches, you would do things differently.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I had all this time with local-based players,
Right.
And given the fact that Rangers have some of the better players, and there's not a paid political announcement for Rangers, right?
Yes.
They do have the cream of the crop.
Let me just call two players' names that I just want you to comment on. from Rangers, Karen Ballpest comments, not in the mix, and young guy with a lot of talent, Kevin Molino. That is one of the senior players that I think now probably still has a contribution to make, not in the mix.
Yeah, and that is interesting because Molino is one player that can change the game with one move. You know, but not just that, there are a couple players who may not be outstanding like Ballpest, but they will give you a good solid. When you look at Ross Russell Jr., for instance, he's a decent lad. And there are so many.
You didn't get the accent right there, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
well, go ahead.
the whole composition of what the Rangers squad has
Yeah.
with 8 months, I think that there was a way. This is where the coach also have got to be a politician. The coach, the national coach, it must be multifaceted because the job entails different kinds of skills, you know, and it's a shame that he's not taking that challenge, but the squad is still, you know, one that could deliver the goods, because football is like that.
Yeah. Do you know the fitness status of Molino?
No, but again, you know, they're not in season.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so therefore, how I would have approached it, you know, and this was saying Terry Fenwick will have his way, but not to be critical of his way, but to give a different view. If I had 8 months with the national pool here, I would have sought a way to meet with the clubs, to meet with the owners, to meet with the coaches, find a pathway forward, and I would have surrounded myself with the best possible group of fitness coaches or trainers or strength and conditioning people, you know, and the best possible staff that I could have put together to bring a national team in the pandemic. You got an opportunity to do, earlier today I heard the name Gary Cummins, what Gary Cummins did in 1989, 88, 89 with the strike squad in terms of having a local base. And then, you know, strengthening it with, you know, the Highlands, the Aubrey Davids and stuff. But it all boils down to the philosophy. But that was the philosophy expounded by Mr. Fenwick in the early days in the job. So I don't know if that, at that time for him, was a paid political announcement. Of course, different coaches will have different approaches.
Yeah. Tell me a gut feeling now, looking ahead at these two games. As I said, it's a World Cup qualifying campaign in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of different islands and countries will be experiencing their own problems in terms of getting their teams ready. What are our chances? I know you have a little affinity to Guyana, but we face a very tricky Guyana team, and then we play Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico. Two tricky games.
It's difficult for me, because while I was born in Trinidad and Tobago and my heart is here as well, I am a Guyanese, in fairness. You know, this is a nation that has accepted me as their own and has given me a respect that I've not been afforded anywhere else. And now I work in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to get too deep, but I know the Guyana squad is a formidable one. I know the coach. We did some coaching courses together. He's Brazilian. I know him personally. I consider him a friend. And he's put together a mixed squad, more mixed than the Trinidad squad. Good, same levels experience in terms of playing overseas and those who are at home. I think it's going to be an interesting game. From a football standpoint, I would say that Guyana is more ready, right? Given they're not going through what Trinidad and Tobago going through, right? But on the day, what the coach can get his players to do, right, I think could make a big difference. And as I say, one of the strengths of Fenwick, you know, if Highland is farting around on the field, I can see Fenwick reminding him, I sent you to Europe. Or even in a more motivational way, hey, Kaleem, come on, give back something here now. You know, and Fenwick has that in him, you know, to be able to get out of the player. So I think that will even the thing. Now we're looking at Guyana, but the dark horse in this group is St. Kitts.
St. Kitts.
Mark my words.
So which means it's almost critical that at least we pick up
3 points.
3
or
points.
At least one.
Yeah. In the 2 games you're talking about. Yeah. Pick up at least a point to stay relevant in the group.
Yes.
Yeah. Puerto Rico is he as that much of a challenge? How much can you say?
I don't see Puerto Rico as in the same class, the same standard with us, though they have gotten a good coach. But you know, all the logistic issues is a bugbear. And this was saying, right, that coaching at the international level, it demands a top quality staff, management and otherwise. The coach should not be thinking about those visa issues with Levi and them not being able to go. You could Google that. You could YouTube that, and they use YouTube already. You could YouTube that and say, listen.
You know they use YouTube.
Yeah, they could. And this with the management team now could have YouTube, Google that and say, hey, listen, men coming from that part of the world will get problems with so. Yeah. Do we write FIFA? Do we write CONCACAF? You know, because those are issues that could be addressed on a world football level.
Yeah. The game against USA was a difficult pill to swallow when Fenwick took that team to USA. But since then, he's struggled to get proper sparring partners. And I said we're in the middle of a pandemic. Football is dealing with the issues just as everybody else. But the national team, I think, played the defense force that now began training and defeated them 1-0, but did not bite at a nice round fat cherry. Richard Ferguson, owner of Lahokota Rangers, put out a very, very lovely invitation / challenge. Come and play Rangers. My team has been training, and $100,000 on the table. Your thoughts on the team preparation, and then that game that never came about. The team preparation leading to this tournament.
I think that game not coming off is an opportunity loss, right? Because there was talks about playing Dominica and St. Vincent, right? Football is not maths, but Dominica struggles against Grenada. St. Vincent also will struggle against a Grenada national team. Rangers beat the Grenada national team, right? With the squad they have, and now they were even more strengthened, right? Here it is, in the pandemic, you wishing for something that was not possible. There was no way the CMO was going to allow, or the government was going to allow, Dominica or St. Vincent to come in. So that's wishful thinking, right? You have a team like Rangers who have the best players, let's face it, right? They have been training maybe as long as you, but they're fit and ready. And they throw that challenge in a way that Fenwick is that kind of street fighter. I am shocked. In fact, I know I will never be the national coach again for Trinidad and Tobago, even if asked. But if I be coach, I would play them 7 times a week, 8 times a week, twice on a Sunday.
Rangers.
Yes, Rangers.
Yeah.
Because that's the best preparation you could have been afforded.
You would have risked losing the game as a national coach.
Of course. Yeah. And then you put up that little perks. So what I'm saying is that take the opportunity. Because if you lost against Rangers, you could only benefit now by seeing the flaws that you have in the team. But you see, it's too much based on what the people think and what the people say, and you know, when you're in that position, you have to lead, because people like to make this statement about the voice of the people is the voice of God. No. The voice of the people is sometimes the voice of ignorance. And if you lost the Rangers, you lost a good team. Now you take another 3 days, 4 days, and come back at them. You know, and use that to prepare a team. What a better rivalry rather than play a defense force team, no disrespect to defense force, that train 3 days. Right? And player for player, when you match up the players, it don't count. So men afraid to lose. You cannot be the national coach and afraid to lose against a local club team. Right? So I think that was a lost opportunity.
Concerned at all about the preparation in terms of actual match practice going into the tournament? Because I mean,
well, everybody have that problem, right?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, because of the pandemic, and which makes it even more real that game should have been taken. When I see that challenge, and them and take that, I start calling them. I call him man and beat him as a captain, pop 25 for me. I call him man and John, and I would have called him.
Yeah,
you know?
No, don't do that.
No, I ain't gonna do that. So I call him man and John. I call him man and I say, listen, Oleo Papa 25 for me, boy. They say Rangers. No. You know what I mean? I said, well, they get on like Fennec. You know what I mean? But if we had the money, Kyrone would have put our little 50,000 in and asked to be part of a 3-way. So, lost opportunity. I am personally disappointed.
Good result for our national team against Guyana and Puerto Rico. What are you expecting?
If we have a good... I still think we could come away with 4 points. And you know Trinidadians, if we come away with 6 points, everybody forget a man tried to play Ray Apollon or Victor Jovica or one of them big... headbutters, right?
Short memories.
And that would be good. Right? That would be good. But our football now need more than 3 points on the field to get back, that vibes, and that whole respect that is necessary. But that coming back home with 6 points would be a good start.
You're still coaching the St. Lucian team, aren't you?
Yeah.
National coach of the St. Lucian team, Jamal Shabazz. When we come back, we're taking a short break. We talk about his challenges as a national coach of St. Lucia, as well as we look into club football here in Trinidad and Tobago, as we hopefully will be soon getting ready to get back on the field of play where club football is concerned. Come on back.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches, right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for Carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What, you want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champion. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champion. So everybody say, hey, oh.
game with Ascension. Quality for champions. Amante Del Cafe is located at Magnificent Mall, number 271 Southern Main Road, McBean, Couva. Amante Del Cafe. Happiness begins with brew. Lasso Frey Maritime Limited provides boat storage, hull and launch, boat repairs, boat engine repairs, secured parking, 24-hour security, and extensive camera system, boat charters, boat rentals, and down the island parties. For more info, contact 634-1653. Lasso Frey Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. Life's better on a boat.
Must say I miss Jamal Shabazz. I ain't see it since the whole pandemic. Miss Jamal Shabazz. Always love his forthright views, and he's here on the Ascension Football Show dealing with football matters here in Trinidad and Tobago as we go into a phase of World Cup qualifying, and that's always very, very important to us here and football, the football fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago. Jamal, but let's talk about, you have gone abroad, as I said, and done some coaching. You are now in charge of the St. Lucia national team. You have not been able to actually go to St. Lucia since the pandemic has begun. How challenging has that been in terms of actually doing your job and executing your role?
Well, I think credit to the St. Lucia Federation. They have allowed, we've, created a pathway forward, and we were doing a lot of recruiting. We have some coaches in England. We identified 23 players. We have some scouts working in the US, people who I trust. Not all Lucians, but people who I respect their views in football. And if they tell me this is a good player, it's a good player. And we went about, kind of trying to create a pool. But the pandemic, given the St. Lucia scenario, created a greater problem. And the Football Association decided to sit out this one.
Out of the World Cup qualifiers altogether. Wow,
totally.
big decision.
And put that funding into the youth development.
Okay.
Right? Of course, it's disappointment, all around. But they took a decision based on logistics and based on the health hazard. And I respect the decision.
Yeah.
It
would have been physically impossible because most of the players you're saying.
Some in England, some in the US, some in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
But in St. Lucia, because of the lockdown,
Right.
the team was not allowed to train.
Right, not even
Right?
allowed to, yeah.
It was not like a bubble created. The COVID in St. Lucia is now raging, unlike Trinidad now, settling, and, so it would have been a greater risk.
Yeah.
And I felt that he must be respected for being upfront. Is a very unpopular decision, but sometimes you have to be like this in leadership and administration.
So you yourself, as I said, probably just can't wait for at least the pandemic to start just moving away so that you can get back into coaching and doing it.
But so not being in international football has allowed me time for local football.
You want to switch there one time?
Yeah, because my coach, Jerry Moore, he is in the US.
Oh, Jerry's in the US?
Yeah, and he we're not sure, he's doing some paperwork.
Right.
And so we hoping that the Ascension League gets the permission,
the green light,
to start. And so I will be here, and I'm excited because there are some coaches with some big mouth, like Angus Eve, big mouth. Defense force, we have it in for them, and when I coach have on more weight than me, what the hell? So we hoping now to catch them in the Ascension League.
Right. So you're looking forward to the Ascension League. Caledonia will be present in the Ascension.
Yeah, Caledonia done started training.
So that's it. So you started to train.
Yeah, in the community.
Right.
And the players all excited.
Yeah. It's been taking some doing, taking a little while before football gets the green light. Where do you see things now? I mean, your players coming back out. We know, I said, Rangers have been training defense force. So we're seeing teams coming back now to the fore. Where are we in terms of actually you think, hey, green light, let's go.
I think, you know, the CMO has come in for a lot of flack, but I think if they could provide guidance, we're not experts in epidemics, right? And instead of we come with an idea and they shoot it down and send us back to the drawing board, I think, you know, for the interest of sport, for the interest of culture, for the interest of entertainment, I think they should provide a framework in which, okay, if you can meet this, then this is possible. You know? Because, you know, regardless of what, when you go on the beaches on a weekend, you see multitudes of people, right? And you know, football is despite all the bacchanal and the infighting, when the ball rolls, it's a different thing, you know, and people starve for entertainment. And whether the competition or the tournament should be played in closed doors, behind closed doors should be played there, and you see it on TV, or you limit the amount of spectators, I think that the medical people should not just take a proposal and shoot it down, but they should be part of guiding us on how we get back on track. Because in essence, that is the intellect they have.
Yeah. And it needs to be done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because if after 3 months, my men, because I use the Ascension to bring the men out, I tell them, listen, we're going for them, boy. And men come out. We started about 16, now we are 28.
Right.
Just now we had to get 2 guards to stop men, because all kind of men come in, you know? And because we in the community.
So men in the community will starve for the football as well.
But after 3 months, now men go to start watching me. What's going on? Where's this? I might then have to trade on the CMO. You know, and that ain't gonna be good, because when men don't buy we, get somebody to blame, it don't be good.
It'll be good. All right, let's talk about so Caledonia getting ready.
Yes.
The Ascension Football League has carved a niche on the football calendar here in Trinidad and Tobago, a very important niche. But you have been in the bowels of semi-pro football, of professional football here in Trinidad and Tobago. We can't help but ask, as we look ahead and we look to the fact that the pandemic will always be with us. Football has to get back out there. We have to get our programs going on here. Club football. What's the status with the Pro League now as it is now?
Well, even outside of the pandemic, the Pro League have struggled to make serious decisions, life-changing decisions. And I think what existed of the Pro League has died. I think professional football still has an opportunity, but not necessarily the Pro League. I think
does it not go hand in hand?
No. I think there are people with new ideas. You know, we saw Rangers come and in every 10 years or so, you see people coming on the fore with new ideas, with giving a new spin to old ideas, you know, coming up with different, you know, funding, you know. And I think that we've got to be more open now. The normalization committee came up with this 2-tier system, National League, that's
a unified league they were calling
unified league. I think that's still a long way off, right? In terms of the concept, in terms of getting on the field to play. What we have now is the Ascension League who are excited, right? And they saved football on the field the year before by providing a preseason league, right? For us, Caledonia must play in our league because we come out of a community that is thirsty and hungry, and the more we stay out of sports and those type of positive activities, is the more we lose the players to the gang war, to the violence, to the negative elements, right? Right now, I'm afraid to call the different people that make up our squad whose children are there. And it's a good good synergy, a good group. I do not have much confidence, though, that the National League will play this year.
As the Pro League?
Yeah, the Pro and
The Pro
Super
and the
League.
Super League.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
But I get a sense that they want to have it picked up perfect, and I give them the opportunity. I think the Ascension League should be given the opportunity to run as a replacement for this year, right? To give them the opportunity to sort out issues of funding and financing, which is critical, right? And the whole rebranding of a national league. I don't think, realistically, they had thrown out September, and then they came and said possibly March. I think and then the TTFA of itself, hands full in a World Cup qualifying year.
Yeah.
To take on the responsibility of running a league as well, it's going to be very, very difficult because you also have the depth to service, right? So I think, but there's a problem in the country about working together. We've got to find ways, although we have different opinion, to work together.
Jamal, just let me go back to, worst case scenario, there is no Pro League, Super League for 2021. How detrimental is that to football?
It's detrimental in the sense that we won't have a team to qualify for the CONCACAF Champions League. But again, there are ways around that. The TTFA could give a certain license for even 1 year. Listen, the laws and rules in football is not made to oppress, FIFA want football to play. CONCACAF want football to play. So it's just around putting your minds in the right place and people seeing what is best for the football. If I'm not ready with my league and my league not going to be able to start in September or March or whenever, let me stop fooling myself. Let me get together with the people who league ready to start, and let me implement some kind of license that allows the winner there. That is the representative league for the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it could change in the next year, but for the year. So it still is a win-win for all. But people that say I'm a dreamer because I always looking for a way for everybody to win. And that is a simple thing for people to just decide, listen, okay, we can't do it, Ascension have it, here what happened. Then we license our league as the main league, we giving them a license for a year. And if we ain't sure, we call CONCACAF, we call FIFA. So we're not operating against each other when we're saying our goal is the same. You understand what I'm saying? We might have different pathways, different ideas, but if at the end of the day, we for promoting the football and taking the football to the next level, because if we do play in CONCACAF for a third, or probably I think there's the 4th year, our clubs, our national teams will suffer because we won't be able to market the players. We sending men to play in all kind of 5th division. Men making more money in Rangers than going and playing El Salvador. Right? Men making more money in Rangers than going and playing a 5th division in Portugal. It's all kind of crazy leagues. Some men go out here, some men went Egypt. Egypt? I went Egypt. I can tell you why I learned in Egypt, but it wasn't football. Right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. We send men a 3rd division in Egypt. And all kind of agents and popping up here and there and selling men all kind of pipe dreams.
Yeah. So we need to get football back on the field.
Yes.
We need to get football back on the field. I know you say like everybody to win, but I don't think when you come to the Ascension League, whenever the Ascension League actually kicks off, you want everybody win. You want Caledonia win.
No, we go battle. Listen, they're afraid. All the men in Rangers, they're afraid. But but they're afraid to tell the owner, listen, we're afraid of the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're afraid,
Yeah.
you know.
Well-
But we instead, listen, we are Rangers, going to be good. We want army. You understand? We want army and police. You know why we want police, eh? You see the men down by me? Long time they want to beat the commissioner, and the only place they can beat him is on the field. It's on the field. And this, but we were the first game we wanted against police. So we could beat the commissioner in the kind of way we wanted to beat him long time.
On the football field.
On the football field.
I want to pick your mind for one more point before we close off. Professionally, you said the Pro League is dead, but professional football is still alive and can still be sustained here in Trinidad and Tobago. Break that down and explain that for me.
Because we took the Pro League to where we could take it. And we must be fair to ourselves and we must be fair to football. And let me show you how we fail the players, right? And the boardroom I might get chastised from the boardroom, right? In the pandemic, the government come up with this plan that you could apply for some kind of subsidy to pay your players, right? The people who suffer the most in this country from the pandemic and unemployment is the footballers. And the Pro League as an organization have not done enough to get from government a special subsidy, because these men are car loans, they have mortgage to pay, they have kids to send to school in the same way, and they put a trust in us, in the dream of professional football, and we let them down. I said that foolishness talk, cross-head, talk, rubber talk, you know, like you think, stop, you're mocking pretender, then the Juve morning talk, right? But are we losing a whole cadre of players because they have no more confidence? Well, okay, Rangers players getting paid, army and police, but the league of itself have not sat down and say, hey, we got to do something to them fellas. Let we go to the opposition leader, let we go to the leader of the government, let we, you know what I mean, make this something, because them fellas and them put the future in our hands. You think you convincing a 26-year-old player no to go back and play professional football full time? No, so that thinking from the league, we have to step aside.
How you revolutionize that though?
We fail it, we have to step aside.
How you revolutionize it?
No. They say we come up with something new. No, I ain't saying as a set of duncy head in the league, but it's a set of stubborn men, right? And if we could bring our ideas, right, to Mr. Haddad and them for the future league, play the Ascension in the meantime, and iron out these chinks, maybe franchise. Men have the ideas, and it have a few people have some money. What preventing those factions to come together? But I know where's the problem. In this country, and you heard it before, we grew up seeing Spider-Man solve the problem. Batman solved the problem.
You give me this story.
Then they get African boy.
Yeah.
Everybody rushed to see the show.
Wakanda.
Wakanda man, Black Panther will solve the problem. Yeah. Because but that them individual can't solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's a collective effort. So a man might bring an idea. A man might bring something else. You know what I mean? And then we think about that and see how we could implement it. But professional football must not be tied to what the Pro League has become, because there was a time the Pro League was stopped, and when you look at that time when the Pro League was here, look at the national team. We were dominant in the Caribbean, and we were a force in CONCACAF. So there is a correlation between the quality of the league, right, and the quality of your national team. Because even the players outside, right, because the league have a big quality, a good quality, players now could go outside and not play like in El Salvador and Fifi Islands and you know what I mean, in these places. Yeah. But now they could go back out to play in Belgium or, you know, a higher level. And that will still help the national team.
Yeah, where's Fifi Islands?
I just, I am man tell me he going Fifi Islands.
Fifi Islands.
Fifi Islands.
Guys, that was the Jamal Shabazz special here on the Ascension show. We had one of the great footballing brains here on the show, so we kind of picked his brain as much as we possibly can. Thank you very much, Mr. Shabazz, for joining us and sharing your expertise and your knowledge and your views on football here in TNT.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're taking a short break. We're coming back to put a wrap on it.
The situation we have here is that these characters, and I refer to them as pests, right? What they are doing is destroying our country, but not on my watch. No street, no turf, no block shall belong to these cockroaches, right? It's no longer business as usual. Happy hour is over. If they don't fear God, at least they will fear Terminix.
Have you considered how your methods could impact on pests across the country?
I find we look after the rights of pests as opposed to the rights of the 1.3 million law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if Roach Ladden's son come here for carnival, if you'll interview him, eh?
But how could you defend one shot, one kill?
What, you want me to throw a pillow at him?
I didn't say that.
No, well, if a roach jumps in front of you now, what will you do?
Run.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Father.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champion. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champion. So everybody say, hey, oh. We wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension! 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 We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension! We wearing what we wearing is Ascension.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Amante Del Cafe is located at Magnificent Mall, number 271 Southern Main Road, McBean, Couva. Amante Del Cafe. Happiness begins with brew. Lasso Frey Maritime Limited provides boat storage, hull and launch, boat repairs, boat engine repairs, secured parking, 24-hour security, and extensive camera system, boat charters, boat rentals, and down the island parties. For more info, contact 634-1653. Lasso Frey Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. Life's better on a boat.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Good to have Jamal Shabazz exposing his views on national football once again. That was the Jamal Shabazz show. We'll see you back here next week, guys, right here on the Ascension Football Show. I'm Joel Philippon.